Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be covering a company by the name of Element Nutritional Sciences. This is a nutraceutical company. It's a penny stock in every sense of the word, so a micro cap company here, you guys. Super excited to walk you through their business model and do a deep dive into the investor presentation. But before we get into all that, please take a second, hit the like button. It's a huge help to both myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you're currently holding shares of Element, if you've heard about this company before, and how you think they stack up to some of the other competitors in this space. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be covering Element Nutritional Sciences. Now, as you can see here, they closed out the week up about 1% during Friday's session to finish out at 32 cents US. They trade on the OTC in the US under the ticker symbol ELNSF. The company's involved, as I mentioned in the intro, in the protein health drink space. They've got a number of things really going for them right now. I'm extremely bullish on the company overall. And one of the main reasons is really the valuation or market cap that you see here. So the company is currently trading right around $30 million US. And as we're going to talk about, I really do think that's an attractive entry point, considering some of the tailwinds this company has going for them and some of the different components or variables of the business model that we're going to cover in today's presentation. So first up, I wanted to jump over to the Element Nutritional Sciences website, take a look at the company's mission statement so we all have a frame of reference about what the company is really trying to do. Then we're going to jump into a recent article that just came out a couple of weeks ago, jump back over into the investor presentation, do a deep dive analysis on this company's business model, the use case or the bullish thesis behind Element Nutritional Sciences, specifically their patent-protected proprietary Rejuvenate formulation, and then we'll get into some more numbers behind the business and their actual distribution model. So the mission statement here, first things first, to employ plant-based technology along with research-based nutritional science to deliver high-value products to our customers, allowing them to live life to the fullest. And as you'll start to see when we really get into the leadership information behind this company, this is not Stuart Lowther's first kick at the can here. This is a very experienced leadership team. He's got experience building companies, selling them off in the nutrition space. So super excited to go through this business model because I think this really does offer a very attractive investment. As we just saw with the share price, you're actually able to get shares currently cheaper than their last round of financing to accredited investors. That took place right around 60 cents Canadian or about 43 cents US. So I love the industry here. We've talked a lot about plant-based products or plant-based technology on the channel. I love companies that help people live or lead healthier lives. Plus, you've got all the exciting underlying business fundamentals, which we're going to go through in today's presentation. Now, with that being said, I wanted to quickly take a look at this article. We're not going to go through it in a lot of detail, but it gives some great high-level points about Element Nutritional Sciences in terms of their year in review 2021 and the business outlook moving forward. So this article came out on December 16th, and it talks about the remarkable progress the company made during 2021. Now, one of the major highlights of the year was actually a purchase order for over 8,000 Walgreens locations across the United States. So we're going to talk about distribution, the number of stores that Rejuvenate is actually featured in, which is really quite impressive for a company of this size. They also reported 212% year-over-year revenue growth up until Q3, so year-to-date revenue is up over 200% compared to the prior year. And Stuart Lowther, again, the CEO of the company, goes on to say, looking forward, we are tremendously excited about our prospects. First, we expect to see increasing velocity within our existing retail and online distribution partners, driving growth. And secondly, new product innovations will also be hitting the market in the first quarter of 2022 under both the flagship Rejuvenate brand, which we just mentioned, and their new sports nutrition brand, JAKTRX. And we're actually going to talk about that again later in the investor presentation when we get into the company's distribution and innovation plan for the future. Now, in addition to that, or the third point here, in 2022, they're planning to add additional distribution partners in both traditional and online channels to really continue to bring this product to consumers around the world. So in terms of 2021 distribution milestones, you can see they actually delivered, again, their proprietary Rejuvenate protein, organic, plant-based beverage to just about 8,500 Walgreens locations across 50 states in the US. They received an initial PO or purchase order from Sam's Club, also known as Walmart, and began shipments to all 589 Sam's Club retail locations in November of 2021. They received an initial PO from iHerb, which is an international e-commerce platform with distribution in 150 countries around the world. And they actually listed their Rejuvenate plant-based single-serve pouches with Longo's grocery chain in Ontario. And in addition to that, they broke into the Canadian market here with 400 Loblaw Company locations across Canada, which include the various different banners, Shoppers Drug Mart, Loblaw, and Fortino's. Now, in terms of the innovation highlights, we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail later in the presentation. But the thing to understand here, you guys, is they've already poured over $20 million into R&D over the last 18 years. So a ton of research has gone into these products. They're already proven. They're already now coming to market and generating revenue. So under the corporate highlights here, you can see they generated $2.1 million of revenue. That's up until Q3, so year to date 2021. That's that 212% increase over the prior year with gross margins positive $200,000. And I think that's really important to stress here. This is a revenue generating company. They've got a product on shelves in stores, and they've actually already completed that lengthy R&D process. So that's definitely one thing to consider here. And when you look at their market cap, like we just talked about, in the range of about $30 million, the fact that $20 million of research and development has already been put into this company really starts to get the gears turning in my head in terms of valuation. And speaking of gears, we're now going to shift gears, jump over again to the Element Nutritional Sciences website and give you guys a quick overview of the company. So everything here, whether it's the mission statement, the leadership team, or the products and brands they're bringing to market, is really focused around that journey to nutrition and helping customers live longer and healthier lives. So Element Nutritional Sciences was born from a desire to develop and deliver products based on pure nutritional science. So that's the R&D component that's gone into these products. Our company is built on the passion to utilize modern science to innovate and deliver high-value nutrition products that enhance the well-being of our consumers and allow them to maximize their health and longevity. We employ plant-based technology along with research-based nutritional science to deliver high-value products that enhances the health and wellness of our customers. And as we start to move through the presentation, you'll see specifically how the Rejuvenate formulation is really helping people do that, specifically in the case of people who are age 50 and above for that specific product. Now, before we get into that, I did want to pause for a second on the leadership team here, specifically Stuart Lowther. So if we click on his bio here, you guys, you can see he's a proven business leader and entrepreneur. So more to come on that in a second here. He's got experience building and divesting or selling award-winning companies. So he's already got the experience of scaling a business and bringing that company to market. So that's really the point here about brand building, marketing, and sales experience. And he's also got a Master's of Science in Nutrition and Human Metabolism. So as we've talked about with other companies on the channel, it's great to see that practical experience paired up with that robust educational background. And if we now take that a step further and we actually look into Stuart Lowther's history, you can see here he was the founder of another company by the name of Life Science Nutritionals. He actually sold that for $40 million, and Profit Magazine ranked LSN or Life Science Nutritionals as the #1 fastest growing company in the pharmaceutical and nutraceutical industry. So again, great track record here and tons of experience that he can now apply at Element Nutritional Sciences. Now, prior to that, he's got international sales executive experience at Jameson Laboratories, and there he was actually able to grow their revenue or top line revenue by a multiple of 14 times or 14x, which propelled the public company's valuation upwards of $1.4 billion. Now, in addition to that, he was also involved with Muscle Tech, where he grew the business from $40 million in revenue to over $200 million, and that company recently sold at a $1 billion valuation. So multiple examples of building companies from the ground up, generating top-line revenue growth, and then selling those companies off at extremely high valuations compared to when he actually got involved with those organizations. And as we've talked about at length on this channel, with penny stocks or microcap companies, you really are investing in the leadership team. So Stuart Lowther is someone who's been around the block, he's got experience, and he knows how to bring these smaller companies to market and really create or build shareholder value. So now that we understand the company's mission, we've talked about some of the real milestones they saw in 2021, the leadership team behind Element Nutritional Sciences, I wanted to actually address the sector itself and the opportunity this company is really trying to address. So the sector overall, you guys, is estimated to be worth about $50 billion US. So this is actually the North American nutritional market, and that's growing year over year. So we've talked about a ton of companies that are really trying to get exposure to this space, and the reason for that is it's a huge addressable market. So currently about 63% of consumers are looking for plant-based foods in order to create a healthier source of protein in their diet. The US ready-to-drink market is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of about 8.2% through till 2025. And if you think about some of the fastest growing stocks in the market, names like Monster, Vitamin Water, those are what comes to mind for me, you guys. So drink or beverage companies seem to be extremely well received by the investment community. Monster is one of the best performing stocks in recent memory in terms of overall growth and value creation for investors. And if you think about 50 cents investment in Vitamin Water, that's another great example of how these companies can absolutely take off when the mainstream public starts to enjoy their products, they start to get into more stores, and the investment community really starts to pick up on that. And you're going to see why I think Element Nutritional Sciences is really at that pivotal point, because they're now featured in over 20,000 stores, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in the presentation. Now, with that being said, the adult protein beverage market is valued at over $1.6 billion. I know my wife and I are both consumers of protein beverages as well, and 49% of the population is actually concerned about the effects of muscle loss. And this is really specifically where the patent-protected Rejuvenate formulation comes into play. And that's a perfect segue to this slide here, which really starts to talk about the opportunity related to muscle loss. So the condition itself is called sarcopenia, and a lot of medical professionals are actually considering this the new osteoporosis. So osteoporosis has to do with bone decay, sarcopenia has to do with muscle decay, specifically in people age 50 and over. So up to 13% of the population now deals with the effects of sarcopenia. The estimated market by 2025 is expected to be $1.3 billion in North America, and the healthcare costs associated with actually treating sarcopenia is expected to be around $18 billion. So this is definitely a very real concern, and it's actually starting to affect more and more individuals as the years go on. So sarcopenia was something new to me, and as I went through this presentation, it's very clear that there's an appetite for these type of products that are actually able to help prevent or reverse the effects of muscle loss. And that's exactly where the Rejuvenate formulation comes into play, which is pitched as the solution to sarcopenia. So you can see here, it rebuilds muscle, it prevents muscle loss, and it actually gives the customer added strength and energy in their day-to-day life. And based on that extensive 18 years of research and development, and again, over $20 million invested in the research behind this product, they're actually the first to market with this type of solution, and they've got a clinically proven track record. And that's backed up by over 25 clinical studies showing a correlation between Rejuvenate and actually preventing muscle loss. So again, it's a patented formula here, you guys, and there's that $20 million figure that's actually been spent on research and development. So again, when you think about the market cap of Element Nutritional, you really are getting a bargain considering the amount of money that's already been put into this product. Now this slide here really talks about the competitive landscape, and I thought this was important to throw in. On the last slide, I mentioned Rejuvenate is the first to market, Now that's true in terms of sarcopenia and actually rebuilding muscle mass, but they're not first to market in terms of protein beverages. And that's what we're talking about when we refer to that $1.6 billion adult protein beverage market. So here's a few of the competitors, and I thought it was important to throw this in to really compare and contrast Rejuvenate and talk about the moat or the ways that they've really differentiated themselves from some of these other competitors. So here you can see two of the most common ones, Boost and Ensure. And if you scroll down the list here, you guys, you can see Rejuvenate, first and foremost, is 11-ounce servings compared to 8 for both Ensure and Boost. It's got 15 grams of protein, so 50% more than either one of the competitors. It's organic, plant-based, created from pea and brown rice protein. Sugar-free, so another big differentiator from the competition here. Fewer calories, so only 100 calories per serving. It's dairy-free, so both of these products contain milk. So when you start to think about people who have allergies to milk, that definitely comes into consideration. It's got 3.6 grams of their patented essential amino acid blend. That's actually what goes into restoring the muscle mass. 14 grams of carbohydrates, only 1.5 grams of fat, so a quarter of the fat compared to Ensure or Boost, and it's naturally flavored. So it's healthier for you, it's organic, it's plant-based, there's no dairy associated with this product, and it helps prevent or rebuild that muscle mass, which again is a problem that is really starting to impact a ton of people around North America. And that's exactly what gives this brand or product such a strong value proposition. So you can see here some of the benefits: anti-aging, increased energy, vitality, overall strength. Obviously, if you have more muscle mass, you're going to see benefits on the strength side of things, decreased risk of disease, greater wellness, decreased frailty, and overall increased activity. So again, back to the mission statement from Element Nutritional Sciences, helping people live their fullest life or live more productive, more active lives. And the final slide I wanted to mention here before we get into the distribution component of the investor presentation is really just some more details around that clinically proven formulation or track record here. So you can see the efficacy is actually backed by 25 independent peer-reviewed clinical studies, 800% increase in strength while recovering from surgery. So you can see a use case there specifically for people who are recovering from an injury or ailment. And ultimately that's going to lead to a number of benefits. As we mentioned, increased strength and bodily function, faster recovery from operations, which unfortunately is a problem for this demographic as well. It's going to lower insurance premiums and overall medical costs. And as a result of all of this, increase the quality of life for the end user or consumer. So honestly, from an outside perspective and someone who's new to the sarcopenia world, this product really seems like something a lot of people could benefit from. I know I've got elderly grandparents. Getting them to consume enough food, protein, vitamins in a day is very difficult. We've already tried some of the competitor brands, and I honestly think Rejuvenate is a product that I'm going to pick up and try with my own family here because it really does seem to stand miles above the competition based on my investigation into this company. Now, with that being said, where can you actually pick this product up? So this is super exciting as well as a potential investor in Element because they've aggressively built out their retail distribution network over the last couple of quarters here. So you can see some of the biggest players in the retail space across North America here. So companies like Walgreens, Loblaws, Shoppers Drug Mart, Rexall, Sam's Club, Walmart, CVS, they're now represented in over 20,000 stores, so they've actually increased their points of distribution by about 4,000 locations since this deck was put together. They've got a presence in Canada, they've got a presence in the United States, and they're looking to expand that internationally in coming quarters. So this, again, is a huge benefit as a potential investor in this company. They've got the research and development portion of the business behind them. They've got the distribution lockdown. They're starting to drive top-line revenue, and they've got the management team that knows how to scale businesses and increase revenue exponentially. And that really leads us to this slide here, which talks about that distribution and innovation pipeline over the next couple of years. So we'll start with the distribution channel up top. Today, again, they're in 8 national retailers across the United States and Canada. They've got direct-to-consumer via Amazon, 20,000 approximate locations or stores where you can actually purchase the Rejuvenate product. Over the next 12 months, they're looking to get into new international distribution agreements and really bring that JAKTRX product to the US market. Now, looking out about 3 to 5 years, so a little bit longer time frame here, the team's looking to actually partner with various different oncology and orthopedic specialists to actually recommend this product through those sales channels. In addition to that, partnerships or potential partnerships with retirement homes and long-term care facilities that really deal with this demographic on a day-to-day basis. Now, on the product innovation side of things, you can see they've got multiple different Rejuvenate SKUs already in market. They've got the ready-to-drink beverages and the JAKTRX 7 SKUs, which are really just starting to come to market now. Within the next 12 months, they're really looking to build out that Rejuvenate brand or platform for the Canadian market and layer in different omega, immune, and meal replacement variants of the product. And then again, 3 to 5 years out, looking at higher dosage versions of the Rejuvenate brand, along with exploring or entering the snack food market. And as you can imagine, as you're getting additional distribution points and bringing new SKUs to market, both of those are going to ultimately impact top line revenue. So I thought this slide was important to throw in here. Again, this is Stuart Lowther's specialty here, you guys. And I thought this chart was really interesting. When you've got the number of stores that Element Nutritional now has, when you really start to sell additional units, it makes an exponential difference in the top line revenue. So I wanted to highlight that in the presentation here. You can see if you're selling 1 unit per week per store, you're looking at revenue in the range of about $20 to $25 million. Once you get up to 2 units per week per store, you're looking at about $75 million. 3 units, you're now up to about $150 million. And if you're able to sell on average 4 units per week per store, you're looking at revenues in excess of about $260 million. So it really is exponential revenue growth. And that's exactly what you want as an investor in these micro or small cap companies, because that's what really gets the attention of institutional investors and Wall Street. And that's when money starts to really pour into these stocks and you see that exponential share price growth or explosion that we've seen with number of companies on this channel. So to wrap things up here today, you guys, I really wanted to summarize some of the investment highlights or my bullish thesis behind Element Nutritional. So first and foremost, their flagship plant-based nutraceutical product, which we've talked about at length, Rejuvenate, is proven to improve muscle health, prevent muscle loss, and help the body build lean muscle. And that's all really to help address sarcopenia, again, which is tagged as the new osteoporosis. Secured shelf space, so they're now in over 20,000 different retailers across North America here, plus that e-commerce exposure via Amazon. And as a result of that agreement, they can now service 98% of the US population with 2 business day delivery, which is really phenomenal and is a method of shopping that a lot of people are now really opting for in light of the pandemic situation. They've got the exclusive rights to the patented formulation with that long-standing history of R&D and investment, again, specifically targeting sarcopenia, but not necessarily limited to people suffering from that condition. And then underlining that all is the product formulation backed by 25 independent peer-reviewed clinical studies, $20 million of investment, and nearly 2 decades of work. And they've got the deep product innovation pipeline, bringing new products to market, targeting new segments of the customer population, and getting involved in new verticals and new spaces like snacks, bars, powder, and gummies. So for those reasons, you guys, I definitely think this one is worth a closer look. Again, we've talked about a lot of these plant-based companies on the channel. This one definitely has a twist because it's got that clinically backed track record. I think they really are at that inflection point. They've now got the product in a space where it's going to market, it's generating revenue, and they've significantly ramped up their distribution over the last couple of quarters. Not to mention the leadership team, again headed by Stuart Lowther, who's got the practical experience and historical track record of scaling businesses exactly like this. So for those reasons, this is definitely one I would put on your watch list if you're looking for exposure to this type of industry or sector. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll leave a link to the company website and the supporting articles so you can take a look and do some additional due diligence. With that being said, thanks so much for watching today, you guys. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. If you're still watching the video at this point in time, hopefully you found some value. So please make sure you hit the like button. It really does help get this content to other people like yourself who may find value. And on a final note here, thanks so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.